Well, I was just saying the other day, it would be lovely to hear from more people who are doing things in the community and being a lifeline. Oh, we'll come to that in just a second. But joining us from Laxey, Vicki, hello. Looking very lovely there in your conservatory.
Yes.
Now, you've created Laxey Lifelines. And apparently you brought us in just before we had our shutdown, so you must have known something that we didn't. I'm very impressed by that, by the way. But tell us, what exactly is Laxey Lifelines doing?
So Laxey Lifeline, we set up on the 18th of March, so it was really just before everything kicked in over here. But we could see what was going on in the UK, so we wanted to get a little group of volunteers together just to help out the local community. So we put a little shout out on our Laxey Central page, and then suddenly it grew from there. So we have at the moment 130 volunteers plus, and we have some lovely people who are self-isolating for a variety of reasons. And what we're able to do is we can do shopping for them, we can get prescriptions for them, we have systems set up with our wonderful co-op in Laxey who have been fantastic, and with Laxey Chemist. And we also work very closely with the Post Office and EVF. And we can also offer like a shoulder to cry on, if you want, for want of a better turn of phrase. We've got a team of lovely ladies who can take phone calls. So if somebody's feeling a little bit lonely, there's always somebody that they can turn to and have a chat if they want to. And we try and inject a little bit of fun and humour into the situation as well. We have a Facebook page, and every day we try and put various bits and bobs on it. So we got in touch with David Cretney at the start of all this, and he does a wonderful, wonderful daily quiz, which we can copy onto our page. And it's gone from, just being a small thing to it's all Ireland now, and everybody loves David's quiz. But it was sort of started by me messaging him saying, hi David, is there anything you could do possibly for us, just to entertain people at home, because you can get a little bit stir crazy. So that's really, in essence, what we are.
The one thing I know about Laxey, it's a great community spirit down there, isn't there? I mean, everyone gets on and really mucks in. I mean, from the floods, and I'm thinking things like that. Obviously, some people aren't on, online, and you mentioned the phone there. That's obviously very important for maybe some of the elderly people.
We were extremely fortunate because, again, at the beginning we thought about this. I've got an elderly mother who lives in Ramsey, and with the best will in the world, she is not tech savvy at all. So there is an awful lot of reliance on a lot of bodies now on technology, and that just wasn't going to cut the mustard at all in this situation. So we spoke to Garff commissioners who've been really supportive of our venture, and very early on we got a flyer together. So we actually put a flyer out to all of the households in Garff, just saying this is how you can contact us, because like I say, there is a certain generation, the most vulnerable generation, you would argue, they don't do tech. So it is vitally important that they've had a means of contacting us. So we did a flyer, which we know is truly has acted as a lifeline to them. We've had a lady who's a very extreme case. She's in her 90s. She doesn't listen to the news because she finds it depressing. She doesn't read Manx newspapers. She doesn't have a radio. And literally, she rang us up after she received the leaflet and said, I can see there's something going on here. Can you please explain to me what's happening? So my lovely colleague, Karen, who answers the telephone, had to explain to her what the situation was. And it's quite frightening, really, because she isn't from the Isle of Man originally, so she doesn't have a network of family here. She relies on one neighbour who's in her 70s to actually bring her shopping. So, in the worst case scenario, if something had happened to that neighbour, you don't really want to think what would have happened to this lady. Now, she's now on our radar, and she gets regular phone calls, and she's safe and well. She's there, so She is, like I say, she's quite an extreme case, but there have been others to a lesser extent as well.
Okay, well, you've got lots of helpers there, and obviously people that are needing your help. How do you deal with all this self-isolation? You've got to be careful, haven't you, how you approach people and put things on their doorsteps and things? Have you told people how to do things?
Yeah, there are volunteer guidelines that when the volunteers go out, we have basically an information sheet. So it stresses about the safe distancing, wearing gloves, hand sanitising, washing your hands, etc., not to enter anybody's premises. we did have an initial problem where people were advancing with money, wanting to pay for their shopping. We've got quite a little system set up, again, with our local co-op, where we can actually get shopping for people. We have a system that we can pay for it. We drop it off at the person's doorstep. And then later on in the day, we actually have a virtual terminal, so we can give them a call to actually take the payment. Because World Health Organization recommend that you don't deal in cash. Now, for some of the elderly, they're used to dealing with cash. So, but most of them have a debit card. We do stress to them, they are given instructions when the shopping comes through on how it's going to actually be done. So, as a security for them, we do say, do not give your card details out to anybody else. It will only be when we ring and we will say certain things. So they have a security point there.
Well, you mentioned Facebook. You got a phone number as well. People can ring you on, as you said. Can we have that so people can contact you?
Yes, our phone number is 47 47 47.
That's a nice one.
It's fabulous. We were so lucky. You talked about community. The Laxey community has been great. That number has actually been lent to us by one of our lovely firemen who used it for a business venture he had. So he's lent us the number, so it's a really easy one to use. So we have 47 47 47. We also have our Facebook page, Laxey Lifeline, and we also have an email address, which is laxeylifeline@manx.net. And then we've got a more sophisticated thing now. We have LL Shopping, so we do shopping for people. They go directly to that email, and we also have a shopping phone line, so they call that one as well, which is a different number again.
And do you need more volunteers, or are you okay on numbers?
To be perfectly honest, the volunteers are the issue. Because of the way that we run things, we tend to do one shop a day in our co-op, and we do one shop a day in our chemist. And we try and minimise the amount of exposure the volunteers have to those areas, because if you like, I classify those as the hotspots. Those are the areas where you get the most traffic. So rather than sending in 10 volunteers to get 10 prescriptions, we send in one volunteer to pick up 10 prescriptions, and then it's distributed from there. So we have sort of a nucleus, if you like, of our volunteers, and we also go that further step and ask whether they're DBS checked, whether it's an enhanced DBS check, just to give that little bit of added security and safety to the people who are vulnerable and isolated at this point in time. So volunteers we've got a lot of, but we don't need to use them all.
And in the sense of groceries, tell me it's not toilet roll anymore. Are we over that?
No. Toilet roll, I have to say, toilet rolls are a no-no. I think the go-to thing at the moment is Dettol. Other brands are available. Antibacterial spray, that's the hot thing. And blueberries are huge. So yeah, it's obviously antioxidant, clean living, and everything. So yeah. But loo rolls, yeah, we're back to normal consumption. I'm happy to report.